I'm Brian Nelson. I'm the match director and the founder of Red Oktober Kalashnikov, and I'm going to give you some tips that'll help you make the most out of Red Oktober 2020 by planning the event out how you want it to go. And I find the best way to plan this out for my own success, the maximum enjoyment, is to start from the end. I back plan from how I want to end Red Oktober, and that informs everything prior to the end of the match, of the event. So if I'm starting at the end, that means I'm planning my exit from the event. How do I get home? If you're Vegas local, that's easy, but if you're coming in from a distance, or flying in, flying out, that's something you need to plan. So I'm going to plan my flight out to be typically the morning after the match, or at the minimum, a very late night flight. See, the thing is, the event ends on Sunday night. We're doing 2 days of shooting, we're doing 10 stages, it's gonna be intense. And that means you can plan on the awards ceremony and the finale stuff starting probably no earlier than 6 p.m. and running till about 8 o'clock. See, we have a lot of things we've got to get done. We give out awards, trophies, plaques, recognize everybody, and we have the prize giveaways. And if you're staying till the end, that's gonna go late. So just plan on leaving the day after, or maybe at the earliest, booking a red eye for Sunday night. After that, let's talk about what happens on the last day of the match. Like I mentioned, you can plan on the awards ceremony starting about 6 o'clock. Now, we have 2 schedules that you can select to shoot on. You can shoot in the morning or in the afternoon on either day. If you shoot in the morning on the first day, well, you'll be shooting till about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and the awards start at 6. We'll have plenty of things to keep you occupied on the range between side stages, our awesome vendors and sponsors. But if you're planning on leaving the range, just make sure that you're going to want to be back by the time those awards start. Then planning out the beginning of day 2, when do you start shooting? Day 2, we have 2 relays that you're going to start. If you start in the morning, you're going to be starting on your first stage at 7 a.m. So what I recommend is, wherever you're going to start, you can pick any one of the stages within your bank on the schedule, which we explained in another video. Any one of those stages, be there and be ready before it's time to shoot. So that means, yeah, if you're going to start shooting right at 7, maybe plan on being there at 6:45 with your magazines already loaded. That way, everything's simple, everything's easier, just by being early. Same thing happening on the afternoon schedule. If you start shooting about 1 o'clock, maybe make sure you're on that first stage at 12:45. Starting of day 1, when you show up to shoot on the very first day, it depends on how you do Friday before the match, but you want to at least plan on being on your first stage, again, 15 to 20 minutes before you're supposed to start. That just helps you make sure you're all ready to go, and you're not waiting around, you're not struggling, rushing to load your magazines, find all your gear, all of that good stuff. We do not have a mandatory meeting for shooters on the morning of the first match, but if you would like to go to a meeting or a briefing that has some pointers on how to handle the gun safely, what all the procedures are, if you're not super familiar with the competitive shooting environment, we will have meetings for both flights on the first day. We'll have a meeting that's, again, optional at 6:30 a.m. on Saturday and one at 12 p.m. also on Saturday, just so that you don't have to get up super early if you're on the morning flight. From there, you just go to one of your first stages. You'll either be on stages 1 through 5 or stages 6 through 10. That's what happens on day 1. We kind of deliberately structure it so that you can make it up as you go along. You have a bank of stages that you have to be on. If you're on the early schedule for the day, then you'll be on, let's say, stages 1 through 5 or 6 through 10 between 7 a.m. and 12 p.m. In that time period, you're going to be on the stages, but you can attack them in any order that you want. And after you're done shooting, your time is yours. Like I said, we'll have plenty of things, cool AK and comm block related things to fill your time. So that's day 1. Now we'll talk about day 0. That's actually really one of the most important days and time periods for you to care about if you care about a successful competition event. If you want to shoot well, you want to prepare well. One of the things that's different about Red Oktober from other match environments is we don't have walkthroughs for every squad because we don't really have squads. So day 0, or Friday, is when you're going to handle all of your checking in, signing of the waivers when you go onto the range, and making your plans for the stages. Now, they're not highly technical memory stages with a bunch of like weird sequences. They're going to be challenging, but they're not going to be mentally taxing. If you're familiar with USPSA or IDPA, they're not memory stages. It's all about how well you can shoot, but it's still very helpful for you to look at those courses and formulate a plan, and the best time to do that is going to be on Friday. So that's day 0, and that happens when you get on the range. Even before that, very important, how are you going to get to Vegas? If you're driving, when do you want to arrive? I would recommend showing up on the range in the afternoon, maybe between noon and 5 o'clock. You'll be able to look at the stages, do all your check-in things that you need to do, which is mainly just signing waivers. How do you get to Vegas? How is that going to go? Have you got a lodging worked out? If you want to camp on the range, we'd absolutely love that. We're setting up a camping area this year. If you want to pull a camper, if you're going to rent a camper in Vegas, when are you going to pick that up? When do they open? When does that place close? Rental car, do you have your rental car all squared away? All these little administrative things that maybe if you don't travel to shoot a lot, you'll want to build in to your planning. So that's a little bit of how to back plan for a successful Red October 2020.